welcome. I'm Lynn Thomas with Arenas for Change, and I'm excited that today we're welcoming our guest, Dr. Veronica Lac with the Herd Institute. And I also want to introduce our wonderful co-creator, team member of Arch as well, Amanda Graham. She's going to be behind the scenes of our behind the scenes, helping us with the logistics and also reviewing your comments, your questions. Feel free to ask questions or anything throughout this live time we have together in the comments on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. So thank you, Amanda, for helping us out with this too.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, well, you guys, I'm really excited about this and to spend this time with you guys and with Veronica. We are going to talk today about the behind the scenes story of us coming together, her with the Herd Institute, us with Arenas for Change, or also known as Arch, to create a workshop that we're calling Seen Through the Herd. And we'd love to share the journey of how that came to pass and talk a little bit about, I guess, the story of collaboration and how that can impact each of us as practitioners, how it can impact the sector, what we hope it can do actually too. So Veronica, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, I thought it'd be great first just for you to introduce yourself, a little about your background, and then also what led you to founding the Herd Institute.
Okay. So my name's Dr. Veronica Lac. I am obviously not from the US. My journey started with within the EAS industry back when I just finished training I completed my master's training as a psychotherapist in the UK, and treated myself to a block of riding lessons because I'd always been really kind of obsessed with horses growing up, but didn't really have that much of the opportunity to be with them. And so when I graduated my master's, I said, okay, this is now the time. I'm going to book myself in for some riding lessons. And I remember getting on this beautiful Welsh cob called Maggie. It was a 30-minute lesson. And I got on, and every single thing that had kind of shown up in my personal therapy in the 4 years during my training showed up. And so I was like, whoa, this is kind of crazy. Is this a thing? And started looking into kind of all the different trainings that were available at the time. Fast forward a few years, I got the opportunity to move to the States with my husband for his work, and signed up to do a PhD program because what I really wanted to do was to combine my love of Gestalt and existential humanistic psychotherapy, the theory and the somatic work that goes with that, with what I was learning about horses. And so at the end of that process, the research that I did in the PhD program turned into the herd model, and highlighted kind of the relational aspect of how we work with horses, and came up with the format and the framework for what we teach.
Yeah. Okay. So those are such long words too. So I always like what is it that drew you to Gestalt, existential, humanistic, and somatic? Can you share more about that, and what is it that drew you to that philosophy and how you're seeing it connect with what you guys do?
Yeah, so in less wordy words, for me, it's really about, and maybe I can talk about the 3 key principles of the herd model, which is here and now, what and how, and I and thou. Breaking that down, what we're talking about is what happens in each moment between humans and the horses, in the actual relationship, not only talking about metaphors. So what is actually happening, what is evolving between the horses and the humans in that moment, and what meaning do the clients make of that interaction in order for us to deepen kind of the relational connection. So within existential humanistic Gestalt therapy, we're really looking at how does that show up in my body in this moment as I'm interacting with you. So with or without horses, it's really powerful to be able to kind of sink into that internal landscape and sensations, and to be able to then notice what happens in the relationship once I make a choice based on what it is that it is that I'm experiencing and making meaning of. So the here and now, what and how, and I and thou, I can talk more about that and geek out over that if people are interested. But really, those are the three key principles that we talk about within the herd model.
Yeah, I love that it's got a nice simplicity to it and a lot of depth to it at the same time. And just kind of sharing. So, with collaboration, it's interesting, with the herd model and then in Arch, we have a framework we developed. We call it the SEEN Keystones. And the SEEN Keystones are a set of questions we ask ourselves as facilitators, SEEN being sense of self. What are we bringing into the process, empowering mindset, how are we creating a choice-oriented experience with the clients and honoring them as the author and the expert in their stories. And then we have externalizing story, which focuses a lot on a story lens, that we look at the process as a story and what we can learn and how we can organize and gain insights through doing that. And then we have natural flow, which is how are we building moment to moment. And I think sometimes I love kind of like learning about different models, different frameworks that are out there, and what are similarities, what are differences, how do they support one another, build off each other, and that's what we'll be talking about. But even just hearing, as you're sharing that about, I think one of the things we definitely share is a lot of the present momentness. Some people think of looking at it as a story, as metaphor, and that's actually, it can be, but it's not really what we're talking about. We're literally looking at that experience that's happening right there, right now with the horse as a story in and of itself. And the horse is bringing their individual story in, and the client is bringing their individual story in. And as facilitators, we're bringing our stories in, and we're all coming together, and it's creating a new story. And that new story is shifting and changing. And as that happens, something inside the clients and in each of us changes too. And I love with what you're talking about too, is really acknowledging that and recognizing those shifts and changes that people are feeling in their bodies in that moment. And that's a story in and of itself, So I don't know if you have any other thoughts about that. But
well, no, I mean, I think that what always strikes me when I'm kind of hearing you talk about how you conceptualize your work is how much how it overlaps. We're using maybe different terminology, we're using slightly different emphasis on the more nuanced stuff, but really what we're talking about is how are horses and humans stepping into relationships with each other in each moment, in a way that can help us understand ourselves and the horses, hopefully, better. And so I think, whether we are calling it the three key principles of the herd model or the SEEN Keystones, we really are highlighting the transformative impact that being with horses can have. And so that can show up in a million different ways. And I think that's why, for me, kind of collaborating with you is so much fun, because we never know where any of this goes. Like, we don't know where this conversation is going to go. We don't know how the workshops that we're planning are going to go. And that's what keeps it fresh and exciting for me. But also it's such a fundamental part of being able to do the work that we have to go with the flow. That the minute that we put an agenda on it, we've already lost the magic somehow. And I think that's what I feel like we share in the way that we approach the work. And it just, I get really excited when I start talking about it and when I start doing it with you.
Yeah, I feel like we learn so much with each other and from each other. And I think that's what our hope is as practitioners. And you explore different approaches, like there is, and it's maybe just a different way to look at it or a different way to frame it, or maybe a different focus area. And completely agree that, we don't even know where this conversation right here, right now is going to go. But that to me is one of the elements or key components of collaboration is when you bring two ideas together, you really don't know what the outcome of that's going to be. You don't know where it's going to go. And there's risk in that. And that's what I think has been fun. I think we both shared that it's okay to step into the unknown. And as facilitators, yeah, really, really embracing that we step into the unknown with our clients, with the horses, and we can really truly be present to where it might go.
Mm-hmm.
So well, that kind of leads to the story of how we got to where we were getting to. So I will share, for years I've known of you, Veronica. I didn't like know you, right? Like I've heard your name and stuff. And I think from what I'm remembering, our first real interaction is we were invited to be on a panel together with Leif Hallberg, and she was doing these wonderful panel webinars. And I think our topic was maybe on EAL. I'm not totally remembering, but I think we started to kind of hear and have that, like, I guess, indirect connection through that panel. I don't know if you remember anything about that time.
I remember being really nervous about that panel because I hadn't met anybody. Like I didn't know anyone on the panel, and so I just remember being really nervous about stepping into that space. But what I actually remembered, I don't remember what the topic was either. But what I do remember was how warm you were in our interactions, and that kind of made me feel like, hey, this is somebody that I could actually, get to know a little bit more. And so, I'm really grateful for Leaf. I think at the time she was running a Facebook group that had, regular webinars, and she'd invited us on this particular one. And like I said, I don't remember what the topic actually was, but I do remember feeling like, a little bit nervous going into it, and how our interaction made me feel a little bit more settled.
Yeah, I felt the exact same way too about you and even our other fellow panel members. And I think it's just, again, the value of just meeting people and having conversation, because that started the next thing that connected us, which was through Horses for Mental Health, the nonprofit advocacy organization, and the vision to do this unique, never been done before, collaborative campaign, awareness and fundraising campaign, bringing together different industry leaders like the Herd Institute and Arch and everybody together to come and support programs and spreading awareness in a much bigger way. So put out this idea, shared with some of the different organizational leaders out there about, hey, we want to do this. Would you guys be interested in getting on board? And I will say that Veronica literally responded with, I think it was like within the hour. I don't know. It was so funny. You were like, yes, like all capitals, exclamation point. Like you didn't even ask questions yet about it. And I remember being so impressed about your eagerness and devotion to the concept of collaboration, just again, right there. Like, and I will say for everyone, all the different organizations that are now involved with the Seen Through Horses campaign, which happens each May, Mental Health Awareness Month, and applications are actually happening right now till February 11th. So each year, know that you guys can get involved with that. But I will say everybody, all the different organizations that are involved in supporting this campaign have been super embracing collaboration. It's been really a joyful experience. And I had to acknowledge that you were the first, like, yes. So I was just curious about, again, that response. And when we presented that to you, what was some of the thoughts you had?
I think for me, my focus on collaboration is always about, how can we lift each other up? How can we amplify voices that struggle to be heard? And like your vision for Horses for Mental Health was just so out there and bold that, like, you know, it just felt really exciting for me. But aside from all that, you know, there's all the good intentions, and there's all the kind of, you know, logical reasons why collaboration is a good idea. But for me, it really is about eliminating isolation. You know, I know as a small business owner how isolating it can be to be out there trying to, you know, promote a message of relationship, trying to do whatever it is that we're all doing. And the daily struggles of running a business, running an organization. It's exhausting. And unless you're also in that position, it's really hard sometimes to kind of get a sense of, oh, you know, I'm not doing this on my own. There are other people out there who also recognize the struggle. And I think because of that, you know, it's what drives excuse me, it's what drives me in terms of building our herd community. It's what drives me to seek collaboration, because I don't like doing things on my own. I think I do because, you know, like with a lot of horse people, we always say, you know, that we're better with animals than we are with other humans. And while that can be true, I think, you know, collaboration and community building is my way, particularly since the pandemic, of eliminating isolation and forming deeper connections. And quite honestly, I mean, I have this, I think I've shared this with you before, Lynn, but I have the post-it note on my computer, you know, that says, do fun things with people I love. And that's what I try and do. And so when I get the opportunity to play with others, my answer is always going to be, yes, please.
Yeah, I love that saying. I love that mantra, and do fun things with people I love. Like, I share that with you, and 100%. I think so many practitioners feel alone, and that actually leads to the next time we came across each other, everyone connected, was you kindly invited me to attend the herd conference, and to be part of a panel on the topic of collaboration. And the panel was with me, Kathy Alm, the CEO of Path, Bettina Job, the founder CEO of Natural Lifemanship, Leif Hallberg, and then Cheryl Miola facilitated. And of course, you and I were on this panel. And I wanted to say first, my experience at your conference was exactly that. I know you really focus on the sense of belonging. And I really felt that at your conference. It just felt very inclusive, like I could feel that focus on connection and not feeling alone, you know? And I think even the fact that you wanted to focus this panel presentation on collaboration, I'd love to hear more of your thoughts about what led you to want to focus that as the topic at this conference, even that you put on.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I mean, that conference was a lot of work. And you know, it was and we'd originally planned our very first conference for July 2020. Obviously that didn't happen. And so by the time we came round to it, it was 3 years later. And so much had shifted in terms of the landscape of you know, the industry, and I, you know, got to know a lot more people and in the industry. And I think for me, the idea of having a panel to talk about collaboration was really geared towards debunking the myth that all of us as training providers in this industry are competitors, right? And competition, yes, is healthy. Yes, there's, you know, reality to kind of, you know, going out there and building a business. But really, if I strip it back and think about kind of, why is it that I even have a business that is out there training people to do this work, it's because I fundamentally believe that the more people who get trained to do the work, the better society is going to be, because we'll have more helpers out there to support people who need to be supported. And so, I firmly believe that people come to the herd, or they come to Arch, or they go to Bettina at Natural Lifemanship, or go to Path, or whatever, because they found something that resonates with them. It's not about one organization being better than the other. And so I really wanted to kind of have all of us get together and really show up for each other to talk about kind of how we can collaborate for the benefit of the industry, as opposed to let's just do our own thing and hustle the best we can, and so again, coming back to my mantra of doing fun things with people I love, a panel discussion is basically between us in terms of collaboration. In that setting, that panel itself would have just really been a conversation between friends. As it turned out, it didn't logistically work out, in the way that we wanted, because Leaf arrived at the conference and then her mum had an accident and she had to leave, so she couldn't be on the panel. And then I think Kathy got COVID, and so she couldn't come. And Bettina had some family stuff happening and she couldn't come. But in the end, being able to have Kathy and Bettina join us virtually with you, me, and Cheryl on stage, I think it added to the feeling of what do we need to do in order to make collaboration happen, and what kind of collaboration can we offer the industry that isn't about promoting one particular way of working. And I think that what we did was just magical, and I'm really glad that we were able to record it as well. So if anybody is interested in the recording, I'm happy to share that too.
Oh yeah, that would be great. And that was such a great example of collaboration and action, and why it's so valuable and important to not go it alone, like you were saying, because here we had all these emergency crises happening all at once. And it did feel like we were there for each other as a panel. And and we were able to kind of support and take up the slack, and then figure out to do some virtual. But anyway, I just, like you said, I don't.
My favorite, sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
my favorite part of the collaboration, one of my favorite photos from the conference, is of you and me huddled over my laptop with Bettina and Kathy up on the big screen behind us, where we were giving each other a group hug around my laptop. It's actually one of my favorite memories and favorite photos of the conference.
I love that too. And it was a bonding experience. I think we all deepened our relationships with each other because we were able to be there for each other through difficult situations. And the show could go on because it wasn't just relying on one person, or one plan. So, and of course, then that led to the next event, and there's starting to be a theme here of Veronica once again and kindly inviting me to come out to herd camp, which I was super excited to go to out in New York at Green Chimneys, and just a time to practice and stuff, and said, let's do a session together. And we had no idea. We didn't know, well, we don't know what that will look like. I didn't really know your model. You didn't really know what we do in Arch necessarily. But let's just facilitate a session together and see what happens. And again, love the risk taking. And of course, sure, I just say, yeah, yay, let's do it. And it was such.
And then you came up with the brilliant idea of roping Kathy in to be our client.
So we're going to keep talking about Kathy. Kathy Alm, the CEO of Path. And that was actually, it was really special because I'd heard Kathy say in previous conversations that even though she's the CEO of Path, she actually has not personally experienced a mental health or EAL session. She's seen it, of course, and stuff, and she's been involved in therapeutic writing, but she hadn't actually experienced a session personally. So we asked her, Kathy, would you be willing to do this in front of a whole group of people? And she very kindly decided to take a risk too and be vulnerable and step out there. And it actually was really special. And we had this amazing horse, Albus, that was part of the process with us. And we talked about, well, how would this look? And we decided in this situation that in this case that you would start the session off and do the first half of the session, and then I would build off of you and do the second half of the session. That's how we decided to do it. Again, not knowing any clue how this was going to work out. And I don't know, what were your thoughts about how it did work out and what we experienced trying something new out like that?
I have some beautiful pictures of that session, and I don't think that we really needed to do that much as facilitators, partly because Kathy was just so enamored with Albus. But I think it was, for me, that session was just a really good example of how much can happen if we get out of the way and allow the relationship to develop between a client and a horse. And I loved that we were able to give Kathy that experience, but also it felt so easy, I want to say, it felt really organic in terms of how we shifted from me leading to you taking over, and then kind of wrapping it up with some theory-based explanations. And yeah, I think that I remembered that session with a lot of love, because I think that's what the theme really was coming out of it, was just loving and honoring these amazing animals that we get to work with every day, but also kind of loving ourselves in the process. And so yeah, I just think it was a lot of fun, and also it felt really special.
It did feel really special, and for all of us involved, and hopefully the audience too. And I agree. That's what it felt like to me, the flow. And I think, again, as facilitators, just that, I guess, embodying that, being truly present without the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a result of that, it's like, whatever you did, I'm going to flow with that. I'm going to build off that, because you're my team member in this scenario. Even if we have different maybe philosophies or anything, which we do share a lot of the same philosophies, which is be in the moment and build off that moment. And in that case, there was a lot of holding space, because what ended up happening between Kathy and Albus was really magical. It was there was a connection happening. And we both, I guess, philosophically agreed about that's what's important right here, right now, in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of it was holding space as well. And I think
Mm-hmm.
just, again, sharing that philosophically, that was important to do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And that's kind of what happened when you came to Orlando too.
so yeah, the next part of the
there's
journey,
a bit of a theme. I'm just recognizing there's a bit of a theme here. I just saw Amanda's question in the chat. Was the session recorded? If you mean the session that we did at Herd Camp, unfortunately, no, it wasn't. We just have some beautiful pictures.
we were all bummed it wasn't recorded too, huh? Because it was a special. Maybe Kathy can share her experience someday, and we can get a visual picture of it all. Yeah, and so I ended up needing to go to Orlando for the American Association of Equine Practitioners Conference, where we got to present a video at that, which was really special, that we'll be releasing soon, with Horses for Mental Health on veterinarian mental health. So I reached out to you, Veronica, because I'm like, I'm going to be in the area where I happen to know you are. And once again, you kindly invited me to come actually stay in your home And I was able to attend the last day of your equine facilitated learning foundation training, right? And kindly invited me to share about Arch during that experience. And once again, we thought, well, let's do a session and let's see what this looks like again. And I think I keep asking you to go first. There's a theme there too. Like, you started off and then I'll build off you. I guess we could switch that around sometimes. And again, it just felt special. And I think, again, we shared the philosophy of really truly being present, the importance of the relationship between the clients and the horses. Did you have any more thoughts from that experience as well?
I think for me, because we were doing it as, at the end of the whole process for these students who'd come for their certification, that demonstrating to students that it's okay to not know was a really big part of it too. That to be able to say, look, we're playing around with this new idea. We don't know what it's going to look like. And if you're willing to step in and be our guinea pigs, great, and they loved it. And I think in the feedback, I remember a couple of them saying, how important it was for them to see, experienced practitioners kind of stepping into a space and kind of going, we don't know where this is going to go, but we're going to trust the horses and we're going to trust each other and just go with it. We might make some mistakes, we might need to circle back, but whatever happens, we're going to just attend to the process as it unfolds. And I really think that in itself is so powerful, and really important as facilitators to remind ourselves of as well. So I think for me, like, the excitement of having you come and meet my horses and get to play and experiment is always a delight. But I think for the students, what was important for them was to be able to see see us working together and step into the unknown.
Yeah, well, thank you. It was really special for me to get to be part of that and to connect with people in the group. And so then I can't remember what it was. You contacted me. Oh, did you have something, Amanda?
Yeah, I just wanted to pop in here. I mean, as a listener here behind the scenes, I keep forgetting that I'm behind the scenes and I'm like engrossed in your stories. But I did want to just point out Eleanor Merrill, one of our Arch members, added a lovely thought that really captures my feelings as well. She says, I love how easily you show us the risk and bravery involved in this work. And the fun of collaborating and learning with horses leads to such transformative experiences. The honor of being seen when we are truly present is magical. Both of you are such an inspiration. Just wanted you to hear that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
That's
Eleanor.
really sweet. And I think, that's exactly with the collaboration and the risk and the courage to enter into the unknown. I think that is where transformation also occurs. It is through the relationship, and it is through going through that journey together. And you go to places you didn't imagine. And that's the power of collaboration, right? Like, we've done and experienced things we wouldn't have thought of. And we've learned some things we wouldn't have thought of. I think that's where now you reached out to me again. You said, Lynn, I have this vision. There's the theme. I would love to do a workshop together. And, and I love, you even came up with the name, Veronica, which I think is brilliant. SEEN through the herd, taking the SEEN Keystones of the Arch framework, bringing in the herd, SEEN through the herd. I think that's just, was beautiful. And of course I'm like, yay, let's do it. What are we going to do? We don't know. But I think the key with this, and maybe we have starting to have some ideas, our hope, or at least my hope, and maybe you can validate too, Veronica, is we're going to be experimenting together. And I think the value of getting to participate in that creativity, that experimentation, that exploration of a journey of trying new ideas, learning from each other, learning different perspectives. At least that's my hope that we'll get to experience in the 2 days, which is scheduled for March 28th and 29th in Orlando at the Herd Institute headquarters. But I'm really hoping that others get to come and join with us in that experience, even if it's just us two there. I'm like so happy to play with you and learn together. So we're hoping that we get to just invite others to bring in more perspectives, learn the different frameworks, philosophies, and let's see where we end up and how we all enrich each other. What's your thought? What was your thoughts behind this vision that I guess you woke up in the night, I don't know, popped out of bed and
I think I texted you one morning and said I woke up in the middle of the night and had an idea or something, which is typical of how my brain works. But yeah, I think it's part of my process. You know, when I've experienced like a glimmer of something that I think, oh, this could develop into something a little bit deeper. Then I kind of go into like, oh, what can we do more of? And yeah, I mean, any excuse for me to be able to get my friends to come and stay with me so that we can go out for dinner and talk about all the things that we talk about when we're together, you know, is great. And if it means that we can bring you know, people from our two communities together, I think part of this thing about collaboration for me is it's not just you and me collaborating, right? When we offer a space for other people who are coming in with different perspectives and they can connect, who knows what that's going to lead to? There's collaboration between our community members that could happen. You know, if they come together and they come to this workshop and they realize that actually they work with a similar population and they're in a similar geographical area, imagine what could happen if programs collaborated with each other. So I think that, you know, in the same way as how powerful the Horses for Mental Health campaign has been, that's all about lifting each other up. It's all about what can we do together? What resources can we share that can be of benefit to our communities? And I think kind of behind the let's do fun things with people we love, there's also an intention to support collaboration in the field. So if we can I don't know, demonstrate kind of what collaboration might look like, then we can provide some ideas for our community members of how they might then go out and look for collaboration themselves, which can only be a good thing. You know, so I think I'm excited about that. I'm excited about, you know, if Arch members come and we have Herd members, how they conceptualize the work that we're doing together, but also kind of how they can expand their understanding just by having those conversations of, oh, you do it this way, well, we do it like this, and oh, I can see where that overlaps and where the differences are. And I think, you know, that kind of collaborative learning is so powerful. And yeah, we can have some fun while we do it as well. So excuse me 1 second.
Yeah, and sorry. Thank you, Veronica's joining us when she's under the weather. So appreciate
Sorry about that.
Your efforts to be here live with us. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's where new ideas are formed, where creativity happens, where the possibilities are expanded, is when all these different ideas, perspectives come together, and to have a place that practitioners can come to and experience more than one perspective and framework. And I think it's just a great idea and a great opportunity. And so Are you like, what would you envision? I mean, I personally feel that this is the future. I mean, learning with each other collaboratively like this for all the reasons that you were sharing. But do you have any specific, or do you have any visions for what collaboration can look like and how it can benefit practitioners and all of this that we do, the work we do?
I mean, we've talked, you and I, like, about what would industry-wide collaboration look like, and played with ideas of kind of, what might it be like if we had, what did you call it? Like a ski pass. What was the ski pass idea?
Yeah, that was an idea that I'd like to see come to pass, because you buy the ski pass that you can go to all the different resorts. Wouldn't that be kind of cool to have an epic pass for the mental health and equine-assisted learning services?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think we're I think that's like an ambitious vision to have, but I don't think that it's impossible. I think that if we keep looking for ways to do things differently, then we can move away from the traditional silos that have been created within the industry. And I also have to be transparent in that it might not work, right? Collaborations might not work out. We might not see eye to eye, and that's okay too. I don't think that the fear of things not working out is a reason to not try doing something differently. So I think for me, it's collaboration is always about how can we do things differently so that we can expand the horizons more for our communities. And I think a lot of work would need to go into your epic pass idea, but I do like the idea of it.
Yeah, like I said, some ideas don't really work out, but some ideas do, and we learn no matter what, each way. And those ideas that maybe don't work out lead to the more ideas that do. So either way, it's all good. Collaboration is a good thing, and I'm excited to collaborate with more of the training organizations out there. And really, as you guys can see, I have a deep respect for Veronica. We've become friends through this amazing journey, as I know many of us do as we travel this journey together and spend time and learning with each other. So, so the SEEN Through the Herd workshop, March 28th, 29th in Orlando. You can go to the Herd Institute website or Arch and learn more, or reach out to us. Either way, we'll love to share. We'll share the link. I should have had that prepared.
Yeah, I can grab the link now. You keep talking, Lynn. I'll grab the link for us.
Veronica, this is collaboration action. Of course, now I've run out of things to say, but actually not totally, because if you guys have any questions, suggestions, thoughts, ideas, ways to collaborate in this sector that we can all benefit and uplift each other, please feel free to share them. In the chat or the comments there, and or reach out to us. Either way, what's been fun too is I've definitely know Arch members that have now joined Herd members that have joined Arch. As a result, we're all sharing, we're all learning with each other, and I think it's a lot of fun. So
hold on, I'm grabbing
I'm in the process of taking your course right now too, Veronica. So I'm in the middle of the online course to prepare for this workshop as well. In fact, I just remembered that for those who sign up for this workshop, you actually get free access. Well, not free. It comes with the registration. You get access to the Herd Institute online course, and you also get access to Arch's membership courses that you can take online to help prepare for the experience. So that's all part of it too.
I'm not sure why my computer's being so slow.
I've thought that something to have thought about is the registration link, but we'll get that out to you guys. Either way, we'll put it in the comments.
Amanda, I'm going to put it in the for some reason I can't put it in the comments. Is that because I'm a presenter? But if I put it in the behind the scenes chat, then if you could share it into the main chat, that would be great.
Okay, yeah, that's a great, I got that there. So let me put this, you guys are watching it doesn't always run smoothly, processes, but
so that's the link
to
the website that gives you all the information about the Seen Through the Herd workshop. And like Lynn said, you get access to all of the Arch online stuff if you're not an Arch member already, and then you get access to our Essentials online module if you're not a Herd member already.
Yeah. So, oops, I don't know why we can't. You're muted, Amanda.
There we go. In the spirit of collaboration, I'm just looking at Kamakshi has made a comment in the chat. I'm such a huge fan of Arch and have been wanting to connect with Herd. A divine alignment. I love that. Looking forward to more. Interested in how this Orlando workshop would lead into Herd EFL certification. So I don't know.
That's a great question. So because you'll get access to the online module, the online module is the first step towards a Herd EFL Foundation certification. So while we're not expecting people to do any assignments or anything for this particular workshop, if you are interested in continuing to do the Herd certification, then you would get access to the full module with assignments and everything that would be part of the certification process, and you would also get a discount towards signing up for the certification because you've attended this workshop. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I can definitely get that to you if you're interested.
Yeah, we can say the herdinstitute.com, right, is your website? Or
yes.
Is it, right.
It's just herdinstitute.com, yeah.
Just herdinstitute.com, and then arenasforchange.com. And yeah, we hope that we've inspired, encouraged you guys not only to hopefully get involved with the Herd Institute or Arch, but most importantly, that you get involved with finding ways to collaborate in your community and with your organizations. And we look forward to continuing this vision and this value of working with each other and learning with each other. And Veronica, do you have any final thoughts or closing thought? Not final, but just, wrapping up our time together today, thoughts?
Nothing other than it's always a pleasure when we get together.
It is always a pleasure. So thank you guys so much for joining us. And if you're able to make it to Orlando this time around, we'd love to see you there. And we'll definitely keep you posted as we keep finding ways to work with each other. And Amanda,
I guess we should mention deadline for registrations for the workshop.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one too.
So deadline will be the end of the month. So you have a few weeks to figure out logistics of how you're going to get to Orlando. But deadline is the 28th of February.
Okay, the end of the month. And Orlando's a really nice place to visit in March, I'm assuming. So I'm excited. I look forward to seeing you there again, Veronica, and everybody else who can come. And you're muted again, Amanda.
And I just want to say thank you to both of you. The words I kept hearing over and over again were bravery and risk and vulnerability. It takes a lot of courage to do the sort of collaboration that you're doing yourselves and inviting us to do, and just want to applaud and appreciate your relationship. It was kind of like listening to two friends over coffee, or sitting around the campfire, or maybe having a sleepover, talking about their growing friendship. And it was just a delightful. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for sharing in the journey with us. It has been fun and it has been eventful, and that's what it is.
We have been known to have PJ parties, so
okay.
Oh yeah, at her camp, the PJ party. There's so much, but we'd love to be on the journey with all of you guys who can be part of it, and hope it inspires each of you as well. So thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you.
Thank
Such a
you.
joy as well. And thank you guys for joining us. Until our next behind the scenes, look forward to talking